1 second. I just wanted to give the title of your power talk, Never Too Late to Start, Unlocking Your Creative Potential and Achieving Your Success. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Everything that I've heard so far has been so inspiring, and I agree. I've been clapping silently while on mute. Sorry that I don't have the beautiful background that all of you guys do, but I do have all of the Nopalera product behind me. My name is Sandra Velasquez. I am the CEO and founder of Nopalera, which is a Mexican botanical bath and body brand that I launched from my Brooklyn apartment in the middle of the pandemic. And I'm really excited to share my story with you, hoping that it resonates, that it inspires you to live boldly and choose yourself. So my story, if for those that do not know, is at the age of 43, I found myself unemployed for the very first time in my adult life. I had no savings. I had $86,000 of student loan debt. I had $30,000 of credit card debt. And I was also a single mother to a 13-year-old teenage daughter. And so this was a very scary moment for me when I realized I had nothing to show for what I had been doing. And I had spent my entire life building my music career, actually here in New York City, where I live. And for anyone that knows any musicians or working artists out there, the money is not, can't count on it. Right? So I realized that I didn't have any other skills, really. I had always worked a day job in higher education just for insurance purposes, but I never worked in corporate, so I didn't have any corporate skill sets. And so there I was, 43, unemployed with tons of debt, and very scary and very nervous at that moment. But looking back, hindsight is 20/20, as they say. It was a massive opportunity for me and a massive blessing, because it forced me to think outside the box. What I realized in that moment is that the only way that I was going to change my life was going to be to actually change what I was doing. And if you want different results, you have to do different things and take different actions, and you have to think outside of the box. And the funny thing about being unemployed is that, as scary and as nerve-wracking as it can be, it does give you time to think. And so I had time to think, and there I was standing, in my parents' front yard and looking at the nopalera, which is the prickly pear cactus. I think I don't have to explain that to this audience, what a nopalera is, and looking there at it and just wondering, why has no one created a brand around this culturally symbolic, versatile, sustainable, resilient plant? And in that moment, I decided that I was going to build a beauty brand, and I was going to call it Nopalera. And I was going to build a high-end Latina beauty brand to really disrupt the historically Eurocentric beauty space, which has really conditioned us to believe that higher price tags belong to French and Italian names. And so there I was with this big, bold idea, but absolutely no money to start a business. And no experience in the beauty industry, by the way, either. I've never worked for Estee Lauder. I've never worked in the beauty industry. And so what did I do? I enrolled in formulation school, online formulation school, with my American Express card. So I really do have to give a shout out to American Express for making it possible for me to even create and launch a brand. I enrolled in formulation school. I studied formulation for 9 months because, again, I didn't even know how to get products made. So I was like, I'm going to have to learn how to make them myself, which is exactly what I did. I called my friend Abby, who is a brilliant designer, the designer behind the beautiful, bold brand of Nopalera, if you've ever seen it. And I told her my vision. I created a brand deck. I knew exactly what it was for, what its purpose was for, who it was going to serve. And I couldn't afford to pay for the branding either. So I asked her for a payment plan, and I paid for the branding on also my American Express card. So again, double shout out to Amex. And so this was how Nopalera was born. And fast forward, right, I made the products myself for the first year out of my Brooklyn apartment. We are now in Nordstrom, Credo Beauty, over 400 boutiques nationwide. I closed out after bootstrapping for 2 years. I closed out 2022 with an oversubscribed seed round of $2.7 million. And I won Latino Startup of the Year. And I also appeared on Shark Tank in January, just 2 months ago, and just received the news yesterday that our episode is actually going to re-air tomorrow. So in case any of you are in front of your television and have ABC, you can see my famous pitch where I received 2 offers and said no. And I'm giving you only that spoiler alert because it's already been out in the world for over 2 months. And I said no, because as desperate as sometimes we often feel that we need money, that we need other people to validate us, I created this brand specifically for Latinas to stand in their worth, for us to believe and for us to be able to mirror and see that our work, that our goods and our ideas are worthy of the same price tags as other brands that are in the market. And I famously, said that I could hear my ancestors whispering in my ears to not devalue myself. And so I received 2 offers and I said, thank you, but no thank you. And I walked out. And that is when I went on to raise $2.7 million after the taping of Shark Tank. And so all of this was only possible because I had a big, bold idea. I didn't have any money. No one in my family is an entrepreneur. I don't have a rich husband. I don't own a car or a house, but yet, our lifetime sales are $2 million. And, now we're in talks with some of the largest retailers in the United States. So no, don't let anyone ever tell you that you are too old or that, if you don't know how to do something, because you can learn new things. I certainly did. There was absolutely no way I would have believed anyone if they had told me that at the age of 44, I would be launching a beauty brand. So, thank you so much for letting me tell my story. I hope that it inspires people to live boldly and to believe in themselves, because as I heard the previous speaker before I started, we have to choose ourselves. We have to create our own opportunities. We cannot wait for someone to discover us. Nobody is coming to save us. We need to have the ideas. We need to figure out how to get those ideas into reality. And then we need to bring everybody along with us for the journey.
There's standing ovation in the virtual room. What can I say? You have us in tears. You have my skin is crawling. Your story is so inspirational, because I think it's the story of many of us that, we have a career, we went somewhere, and then suddenly life throws this curveball that we were not expecting, and suddenly we're left like, oh my God, what do I do? And the instinct is to sit down and cry and wait for somebody to come in and save you, right? But I think you're the perfect example. And thank you so much for being so bold and vulnerable to share your story, because I think it inspires me definitely, and inspires a lot of us here in this virtual room today. Que sí se puede. That we have the ability and we have the community, and that there's somebody out there, either American Express or somebody else, that's going to root for us, that's going to lend the hand that we need to be able to stand back up on our own 2 feet. And kudos to you for your journey in Shark Tank, and showing that there's still, we don't have to sell ourselves. We don't have to go for whatever other people believe that can go against what we believe in. So thank you, Sandra, so much for sharing those words of wisdom. I wish that we had more time, and please drop your people are asking on the chat, your site, your handles, where can they find your products? Before I move into the next panel, if you can just quickly say that, and we'll also drop them on the chat.
Yes, I'll go ahead and put it into the chat. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you again. And I'm going to call on our next, oh my God, I need to take a breath.